Allstate and Farmers Insurance have recently announced they will not offer home insurance in California anymore. They're going to cease accepting new insurance applications. Um, and
By the way, before we jump to that one,
sure.
didn't Farmer's new CEO just get yelled at by you know, by the media and everybody else because the previous CEO said no, stay at home, and this one said no, come back into work. So they now that they that's partly we can segue into your stay at home, in the office space side of things too. So
Yeah,
crazy.
absolutely. Yeah, it's been an interesting news week over the past few days, including on stuff around real estate. So
I
in
would dare to
terms of
say that the world is on fire. Is that a bad California joke?
well,
It's a
that's
bad everywhere joke.
yeah, but there might be something there, right? I think they let me see, and they pointed to construction costs outpacing inflation, a challenging reinsurance market, but a lot of this boils down to exactly what you just said, California and fires.
Well,
Um,
look, Florida's going through the same thing. Um, they had a hurricane make landfall last year. It was a
Tiny one,
relatively, what's that?
a tiny one.
I was going to say it was a relatively mild event on the scale of hurricanes. I mean, it was 70-mile-an-hour winds. It was an area that doesn't necessarily experience them on the West Coast, which is why it caused, a little bit more damage than normal. But the problem that we're having in Florida, and I don't know what it is in California, that reinsurance market, when you do insurance, they're insuring maybe 10%. They're going out to insurance to the insurance carriers that are covering the 90. And that reinsurance pool, um, there's no laws in place about stopping the clock from abuse. And they've uncovered, at least in Florida, that lawyers are going out and running bill after bill, taking these claims through the process. And they slow roll them and just keep adding the fees and the fees, and there's no cap. So most of the insurance money has not been going to properties or property owners, it's been going to people. And that has been driving the cost of insurance up, at least in Florida. I don't know about California, but I have to imagine that there's something in place that is allowing the system to be taken advantage of that is causing a lot of this headache and heartache for these insurance companies.
yeah, I think you definitely have issues with the regulations and how efficient or inefficient these processes are. And then I think one commonality you get in California, Florida, and some other states is as you increase population size or you bring in new people, you start to develop in areas that are more prone to damage. And I think when you really look at the data, you're not necessarily seeing that the weather's gotten really worse on a historical basis over time, but you're starting to have areas that just didn't used to have any population now having, cons- you know, structures on them that have dollar values attached. So if a hurricane hit a place, 50 years ago that didn't have any buildings in it, and it hits a place now that has, or a fire, you do have the issue of a lot more um, monetary damage. But California, I really do think, as a resident, a lot of this is the mismanagement of the land by the California government. I mean, to make it really, really simple, um, we don't do controlled burns. We don't do cutting. We don't do harvesting. We essentially let our trees
We don't do
die and sit
tax.
there until they ignite.
Dude, that's awful. That's like living in Florida and saying, yeah, we're not going to do anything to build for winds that could be, more than 50 or 100 miles an hour. Or we're going to use glass that if you throw a pin at it is going to shatter, right? In Florida, you've got to build to a certain
You do.
code.
That's what impact glass is.
Exactly my point is you have to have, well, I think my camera just went out. Oh, cool. I'm
There,
back.
you're back.
Hey. No, but I mean, that's the point is there's codes. And in California, what are you going to do? I mean, to build fire rated buildings, I mean, every house will have to be nothing but concrete. And even then, that just creates an oven. It's not
Well, it's
really the
also
same
it's
as
also worse in that, say, you are in one of these areas that's got fire risk, which is a great deal of the interior of the state, a great deal of the state. My understanding is you can face real challenges just trying to clear the area around your property. right? You have a tree you want to cut down.
It's literally where I was going. Can't cut a tree down.
Yeah, but the regulations actually, in a way, make it hard to prevent fires. This is obviously wasn't the purpose, but the outcome has really been to create a lot of dry fuel out there. And even if you were to try to fix this, there are so many dead trees out there after both drought and mismanagement, that you're looking at years, just to get to a more manageable situation. And I think this kind of goes to a bigger point, which we're going to kind of touch on with our next topic too.
Florida's awesome compared to California because
that would be one way of putting it. Yeah.
Hey,
Florida
that's an
man
easy
does
solution.
do controlled burns.
Yeah, let's follow Elon Musk and let's move to Texas.
Well, I think that's really kind of one of the issues is, I mean, it's one of the reasons we haven't, we tend to look at areas other than California is, we tend to want to invest in markets where we feel like the policy's on our side rather than against us. And,
sure.
California has become a state where, for businesses and for folks in the real estate business, the system's more fighting you than helping you. And I think, well, this is just certainly all state and farmers feel that way. They feel this is a state that makes it hard to do business there. And I think that's kind of the broader story is California just keeps going in the direction of making it hard to do business